Cosmic Crisis TV and this edition of Cosmic Movie Reviews. And today we'll actually be reviewing Furious 7, which is a continuation of Fast and Furious 6. Picks up right where Fast and Furious 6 left off, with Owen Shaw's brother, Deckard Shaw, coming in and trying to get revenge for everything that happened with his brother, Owen Shaw. So, thoughts about what happened in the movie, basically starting off from the first scene where it shows, the first scene was Deckard Shaw walking around through the hospital saying that he's going to get revenge for his brother and what the group or the crew, whatever you want to call him, his family, did to him.
I thought that whole scene with the hospital and all the CG graphics flying around everywhere was probably a classic Jason Statham movie opening. It was like over the top, completely him all over the place, punching everything, blowing things up. It was like, Jason Statham is in that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Like seeing him in there, and then I'm like, okay, he took out a few people. Then he starts walking out. You see everybody else that he took out. I was like, oh man, he about to snap some people up in this movie. A force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
So,
at first I was kind of a little lost at the beginning of the movie because it's showing him and then it shows his brother in the bed, in the hospital bed, and I was like, wait, that's not where we left off.
No.
And then all of a sudden, oh, here you go, here he starts walking through the hospital. There's all these people that he completely took out the entire hospital with all the security and everything. But I like how they jumped back to there and showed basically this is right after the sequence with Owen Shaw and the Fast and Furious crew.
Yeah.
Basically everything that happened with them. This is basically like right after that. So it's kind of like a little flashback to start with, and then it starts working its way, it starts progressing. Like scenes that showed us at the end of 6. Okay, you have Deckard Shaw there with Han, and he basically causes him to wreck and then blows up the vehicle. So it hops back there. It shows us that scene again. So that's right where they left off at with Fast and Furious 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of liked how they did the little flashbacks. So it kind of filled in the little gaps and everything, and then also fit all the movies in there. I mean, it fit the first one, the second one, the third one. Even though the third one was a horrible movie, it still fit Tokyo Drift in there, and it fit all these in there by jumping back and forth between like each of these and basically putting them in chronological order throughout the movie.
Tokyo Drift wasn't a necessary movie to put in there. It felt to me like a filler. I was about to say thriller. It felt to me like a filler movie other than an actual tie-in to the actual series.
I agree. It felt like a filler, but then I liked how they were able to jump back and basically show, they show Bow Wow, then they show the other characters, then they show Han. So it made it all fit together. They jumped before the scene in Tokyo Drift where Vin Diesel shows up at the very end and races, so it showed a little bit right before then, and then it showed a clip after. I was kind of hoping they would include the race in it because I wanted to see that.
It would have been nice.
That would have been nice, but they didn't do that. Maybe we'll get like a director's cut or something and it'll put that scene in there.
Could be.
But I like how they went and showed that scene also, like cut that one up and like stuck that in there so it's filling in all the time gaps basically to make it work, because when you watch the rest of the movies it's kind of like this is kind of hard to believe. Okay, first Letty's dead, then she's not dead, and then you got Vin Diesel showing up here, then you got this showing up here. Basically throughout the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th movies, you're trying to fix what happened in the second and the third movie, trying to fit everything together. I like how Furious 7 went and put all the pieces together and made it work, and it all fit chronologically.
Yeah.
So I like that about the movie, how it all fit together. So any other thoughts about like the flow of the movie or anything?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't really see Deckard Shaw as a main villain. They're more like two bad guys in this movie. He was one of them, and then this other group trying to get some machine to watch over the entire world.
God's Eye.
God's Eye.
They were trying to capture Ramsey, so that way they can have God's Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted her.
They're-
They wanted her, but then they wanted her dead.
there wasn't one big villain. There were two villains. Deckard Shaw was there. He wasn't there as much as I would have liked him to be included in the movie. He popped up in various places.
It was interesting in the movie because how, say they're talking about going after Deckard Shaw and everything. So they have Deckard Shaw. Well, Vin Diesel has Deckard Shaw at one scene, and all of a sudden he pulls out his gun. He's like, I don't play fair kind of thing. Oh, boom. Then all of a sudden this paramilitary group shows up, and Kurt Russell pops out of the vehicle, and he's like, well, I just saved you kind of thing.
You have to have him.
Kurt Russell. Man, I mean, come on. Old 80s, 70s, 80s action star. I mean, that made my day when I was watching the movie. I was like,
yeah, they put him in here.
Now, I didn't know who he was, so I was like, what is everybody getting so excited about? Like, oh, it's Kurt Russell. I was like, okay.
Google,
Okay,
who is
whatever.
Kurt Russell?
No, he's in the theater and he's all like,
But
Siri,
Oh.
But I thought it was interesting how they go and completely throw in this whole new aspect to it. Okay, if you guys look for God's Eye for me, then you guys can use it. You can find Deckard Shaw and this and that. So then you bring in this whole new terrorist organization. But every single time, this was pointed out, that every single time the terrorist group shows up, well, Deckard Shaw's in the same scene.
Yeah.
Every single time. So it's kind of like you almost had too many villains, but it didn't feel like that, though. I thought it was fine. It didn't feel like there were too many villains going on or too much going on at one time. Some movies, they feel like you have way too much going on, way too many components, but this seemed to flow really well, and like everything that was going on at the same time, it just fit together. And I did like how they brought in Tony Jaa. I was like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you got this little Asian dude on the bus, and it's like, man, that guy looks really familiar, but he looks different. He's all tatted up, and he's got facial hair and stuff. It's like, who is this guy? Then it's like, oh wait, I know those moves. That's Tony Jaa. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. I liked his scene with Paul Walker.
Yeah.
So that was or Brian O'Connor. What do you want to say? Use his acting
The late
name
Paul
as-
Walker.
Him, so.
Yeah.
But I liked that scene. I thought the villains were good.
Yeah.
The way they brought them all in and stuff, and I thought they meshed well together.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't.
Now, you two being big wrestling fans, what did you like? What did you think of
3.
Yeah.
Say
3?
She's
Fine.
a new wrestling fan.
New
Make it
wrestling.
2.5.
not that new. I did before, but then I kind of stopped after you moved out.
Well, you should watch
Well, still.
WrestleMania, so 3.
What did you guys think of the throwdown between The Rock and Jason Statham?
Rock bottom.
Oh,
Rock bottom.
everyone
Yes.
cheered. Not everyone. There wasn't that many people
There
who
were-
didn't know what
There
it
were
was.
a few people that knew the reference made there. I thought that was a great
Yeah.
throwdown scene between Statham and The Rock.
It was
It was awesome.
beautiful.
They
Oh
put
man,
that in
The
there.
Rock dwarfed him. Oh, he was so big.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that dude is huge. Okay, so when I'm watching that fight scene, I just kept getting flashbacks of like Street Fighter. That's just all I can, because you got all the martial arts and everything. Oh man, man, this looks like some kind of Street Fighter throwdown or something
The
here.
way they were throwing each other back and forth in the room.
Yeah, they really did. It looked like some kind of Street Fighter throwdown or something. And then, of course, the best thing, Rock uppercuts him once. That kind of looked like that little, was it? Yeah,
What do you call
either Ken or Ryu, or maybe the Say, just like a little uppercut right there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And he rock bottoms him through the table.
Through a table. Out
And
of
he
nowhere.
still walks away.
I thought he was about to go for the cover up, man.
Well, yeah. But hey, it was Jason Statham. He gets up right after that. Gets up after the uppercut. Gets up after the rock bottom.
Barely a
Everybody.
scratch
Yeah.
on him.
Everybody in this movie kept getting up.
Even
Everybody.
after driving off the cliff, who knows how many times?
Just walk away from. Hey, you know
They're just like,
okay,
get
okay.
out,
Yeah,
crack your
this-
neck. I get it,
this-
guys.
This is a movie about cars. It's about being fast. It's about being furious, and it has superhero
Really?
elements in it.
But
This movie is not a superhero movie, but it has superhero elements.
a beautiful.
Yeah.
Unlike that Fantastic Four, who they say has superhero elements. Oh, that's a superhero movie. Whatever.
Duh.
This is a movie about cars and racing and
Yeah.
terrorists and doing whatever else, FBI work, espionage, all that, and yet it has superhero elements in it. These people are jumping from vehicles, these people are just rolling on the ground, getting blown up, getting thrown out of a building, get blown up, thrown out of a building, landing on a car, oh, guess what?
Yeah.
And now I've got a cast on my arm and my leg, but later on, guess what? They need my help. I'm just gonna burst this. I'm just gonna bust it off. Forget this.
Yeah,
I'm all healed. I'm gonna snap it all back into place just by
Yeah.
flexing.
with the wrestling involved, it was really cool to have The Rock in there doing some of his moves, and then for Ronda to appear
Ronda
towards-
Rousey.
towards
Yes.
the middle or the end of the movie. I knew she was in the movie, but it took me a second to recognize her with all the makeup and her
Yeah.
hair done. I was just like, oh, I know what this is. After she started fighting with the other chick, and I was like, oh, I get it now. And I was like, dude, this is amazing.
Okay, so talking about all of the cameos and everything in this movie,
It was awesome.
well, having like Tony Jaa, Ronda Rousey in it, and all these people just showing up. The stupidest, the dumbest thing that they did. The dumbest thing. Okay, they go back out to the racetrack that they all started the race wars.
Race Wars.
Race wars, and all of a sudden, what's her name?
Letty.
Letty. Thank you. Letty goes out there, finishes, does a race. Okay, she wins it. Obviously, I mean, it's Letty. She's gonna kick your butt when it comes to racing.
Mm-hmm.
So once she does it, okay, everybody's out there. Oh yeah, congratulations! You get Hector showing up in it from the first movie. So Hector
Yeah.
shows up and he's like, oh yeah, you still got it and everything. But then all of a sudden, the dumbest cameo ever. Iggy Azalea shows up.
Oh, I hated that.
Shows up, and then all of a sudden with this fake hood accent. Oh, girl. Oh, this the girl that I've been hearing about. Oh, yeah, man, give me some of that. Yeah, girl. And then just disappears. It was like, everybody, shh, quiet. She has a line, and it was forced. Oh my gosh! Please,
I'm pretty sure half the
Please.
theater booed.
please do not have her cameo in anything more. Oh man, she needs to go to acting school for like 20 years to even do a one line. One line. I mean, it's not that hard. It's just walk in there. Hey, girl, man, that was sweet. Give me some of that. That was sweet. You know. But it's all like,
And why out of
was
everyone
so
they could have
forced.
picked, why did they pick an ugly girl too?
well, most
Iggy
likely,
is
it was,
ugly.
most likely it was Iggy Azalea who showed up in it because she is on the soundtrack for the movie.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
true.
that may be
You
it.
got to. You got to.
Now,
That may
refresh
be
me,
it.
who is Iggy Azalea?
Oh.
She's an Australian
She's
white
a
rapper.
wannabe white rapper.
Okay.
Wannabe.
Yeah.
She's the one who that Vine video where it's going around where she's all like she's
the
Tasmanian devil.
Tasmanian
Yeah,
devil.
that's
She is from
Yeah.
Australia.
That's her.
She is from Australia.
I
So
know she
you know
is. And then she
Tasmanian
moved to
devil.
Miami when she was
Hey,
16. I know.
Tasmanian devil. She spits like the Tasmanian devil. You know that's probably why because she's from Australia. Okay, sorry about that. She got some rags. You try that off real quick, you know.
But
Okay, so that was the dumbest thing in the movie. Well, and then, let's go. What did you guys not like about the movie?
They didn't have enough of if you smell.
The
don't
Rock.
ever
Okay.
say that again.
So yeah, that is something we all agree on. Did
So,
not have enough of
I
the
would
Rock.
say that is the one thing outside of Iggy Azalea not being Iggy Azalea being in the movie. The only thing I really didn't like about the movie was it didn't have enough rock. Maybe
Though it had a lot of him towards the end.
it did. I loved how he came back from the end and she's like,
Holding
"Where's the
that
cavalry?" He's
machine
like,
gun.
He's
I am
like-
the cavalry.
No, he's like, woman, I am the cavalry. You have to remember he's a
Yeah, that's
woman.
right. I like how he did
Yeah.
that. He did it twice in the movie. He was like, "Woman, woman." I was like, "That's kind of
Like in the
funny."
beginning, woman, I leave when I want. And then, woman, I am the cavalry. And I was just like, dang, I wouldn't double cross that guy ever.
G.I. Joe, that is your...
That's what
Road Road.
that's what GI Joe needs to do.
Yeah.
But no, that was probably the only downfall in the movie was that it didn't have enough rock in it. I don't know if he was filming other movies at the same time or if he was doing something else to where
Wrestling.
they couldn't fit him in too well.
WrestleMania and all that.
So I
know.
don't know about that, but that's the only thing I wish they had a little bit more of the rock.
He's
But-
a good actor.
But if they do,
Well, he did
If they
fall
do-
out of like 100 stories.
yeah, it's true. But
yeah.
you know, they could have changed that and done something else. So, but
I think besides
I
that
think
and
they
Iggy,
did it for a reason.
besides that and Iggy, I can hardly point out anything I did not like about that movie.
That's true.
I would probably have to say I would have liked it to be a little more realistic because after like Fast and Furious, which was number 4, I think, it started to get a lot less realistic. You had all these crazy stunts, you like the pulling the
Well, see,
the thing
like
out of
I'm saying,
in Rio. What is it? The safe out of Rio. All
yeah.
that.
See, but like I'm saying, it's a action movie with superhero elements.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it not being.
I'm okay with it. We just watched the Fast and the Furious, and then Too Fast Too Furious again.
Yeah.
And the first one was really quite realistic. Of course, with the scene with the semi at the end, and then he's all caught in the wire, and so they're trying to get him. So I'm like, that's something they would have easily done and taken care of in either 6 or 7 or whatever. But it's a progression. It's a progression.
So you're
from
saying they're raising their stakes a bit.
It's basically raising the stakes from every single movie.
Okay,
If
yeah.
you watch from the first to the second to the third, so on to the fourth, fifth, sixth,
I still got to do
you
that.
skip the
it's
third,
basically
but yeah.
it's basically you working your way up, and they're adding more insane elements to this movie, which I don't mind. It's an action flick. It's a popcorn flick. They want to put you in the seat and they want to entertain you. Who cares about realism? The superhero movies are trying to do realism. DC's trying to do realism right now.
DC's trying to do realism.
Yeah, and so with this movie here, this is an action flick. They know they're an action flick. They say, we want to entertain you. We're going to put unrealistic things in here. Everybody knows you can't do it.
Yeah.
Who cares? As long as it entertains, I'm fine with it.
I mean, like, with this movie, like, it was an action that entertains and stuff. I mean, this is so far, because I know we've got, like, the Avengers and Ant-Man back coming up. So far this year, this is one of the best action movies I've seen, because, I mean, like, American Sniper, that was an amazing movie, too. I really liked that.
Ooh, yeah.
That was really good. But if I had to go back, I would take back going and seeing Jupiter Ascending and go and see this more than once, because this is a go to the theater 3 or 4 times just go see this movie as well.
I had
This
a
is a
medium.
good
I had a
movie.
medium popcorn, and I only got through half of that. I usually finish the whole thing by the time
Previews are done.
either the previews or the middle of the movie. I put that thing down. I was like,
Thanks
I'm
for the
so
stats.
more invested.
You
in
can't hear the movie over your crunch.
Yeah. So, so with the rest of the movie, I like how, every one of the actors, they were able to work them in there. Everybody got their due in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start out with some of the characters like Dom, Vin Diesel. Of course, he's the alpha male, like they pointed out in the movie. He's the alpha male. He's the man.
I like
She's
how,
the Mrs.
Mrs. Alpha.
They're like,
I
we're
like
not
how
married.
Ramsey did
Just
that.
kidding.
Yeah.
Alpha, Mrs. Alpha. It's like, there can't be 2 alphas.
I like how they're working with his character, how he is definitely the leader. He is the family man. He's basically, this is my family. I'm going to do anything and everything I can to protect them.
Did it feel to you guys that that they kept saying the word family too much?
No, not at all.
I didn't feel like it was
No.
too much. It was a lot.
It was
They said
definitely a lot.
But that's
I
basically
think they
what
were
they're...
definitely
that's-
pointing that out because of Paul Walker as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that it was done that way because of Paul Walker.
Because with all the years that they've been filming these movies, the actual actors and actresses within these movies could actually really feel like a family because of how much they've gotten to know each other over the years.
That is definitely what I feel this entire series is about. It's about family. It's about the bond between 2 brothers, not brothers at the beginning, but then they became brothers also through marriage.
Preach.
Technically.
I mean, family doesn't only have to be blood, right, Jay?
There you go. You don't have to be blood related to be family.
But yeah.
I agree. I like how,
Nothing about that.
going with like looking at the rest of the characters, saying even bringing in all the characters from all the other movies. Like you bring in Ludacris from the Too Fast, Too Furious, and Tyrese Gibson from there. So both of those guys weren't in the original movie, but then they show back up in, I believe, the 4th and 5th movie. That was the 5th movie that they show up in.
Yeah.
And basically just start integrating them right into this family. Now they have become this family. They're all part of this crew, this team, and everything. And I like how with both of them, you watch them in the earlier movies. You watch them in Too Fast, Too Furious, and you watch them now. How their acting skills have gone like way up.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Ludacris because at first he was kind of like, yeah, I'm the handler, I'm the money guy, I'm just
Oh, man.
whatever. It's kind of like. It's like,
I like how
yeah.
they've kept like instead of like replacing someone with like it's the same character but they're replacing the actor. I like how they're keeping them the same people through the movies.
Yeah.
I can't stand it when they make so many movies and then they replace someone. I mean, Paul Walker, understandable. At the very end, they used his brother a little bit, but I can't stand when they just replace it all of a sudden because someone didn't want to act or they didn't want them there anymore. And I'm just like, it doesn't feel right.
Actually, for the ending, with the ending Paul Walker scene, that was his brother's. That was his brother. That was more or less his body. They just CGI
Well,
Paul Walker's
I know
face.
that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like you could see the progression of basically the family bond and the family growing with each of these characters adding them. Even the Rock's character has now been added into that family and stuff. From the fifth movie where he was the one hunting them down, to the sixth movie where they all help each other, and then to this movie where it's now basically like, yeah, you're part of our family now.
Yeah, and the little daughter. I heard my dad kicked your butt. I don't remember going that way.
He does do in the history of the law.
Basically, with all that said and done and everything, how well it has basically built this family
I like.
and the feel of it. Now going on to Paul Walker, and how was this movie basically? How did you guys feel about this being his last movie and how they handled his character?
Oh man.
I think they did a really good job.
I got-
Especially at the end with the tribute and everything, when they kind of did a recap of a lot of the old movies with mainly basing off of him.
Mhm.
I think they did a really good job. And how, like, you know, Vin Diesel was, like, talking and he was just like, you know, it's never really goodbye.
Hmm.
I thought they did a really good job.
I got chills then. I'm getting chills now.
Yeah.
I
It
saw
puts you in the feels.
I saw the music video that they posted up. I think it was earlier Monday. I almost
No.
cried. I almost cried during the last scene in the movie. I saw them going off and was like,
And you
Like,
can
for
you
Paul,
kind
like,
of tell
oh.
what they're making a point of with them driving in different directions, and he's kind of talking where all
Like,
his family, but
that
it's never
character's
really
not coming
goodbye.
over.
Yeah,
That character's not coming back.
Well, was this supposed to be the last movie?
It's supposed to be
no,
Paul-
No?
It's
No, it's
Paul
supposed to be
Walker's last
Paul
movie,
Walker's.
Oh, okay.
obviously, but this is not going to be the last Fast and Furious movie. No.
No.
I really liked the entire movie and how they basically played homage to the character throughout the entire movie.
There was.
Basically setting it up the entire movie, how he is now a family man. Things are
That's
changing,
what I was gonna say.
and
Yeah.
how it's basically it's. I'm starting a family. I have one kid. I have another kid on the way.
Yeah, with
You
them
know, I
kind of
kinda-
saying, you know, it's
I
never
miss-
really goodbye, but
yeah.
he's gonna go
Mhm.
be a dad now.
But he's talking about how he misses the bullets and stuff like that. But then partway through the movie, he's basically like, I really don't miss it anymore, kind of thing, and stuff. And how at the end, when they have the scene on the beach where they're all sitting there watching
that
him,
was
and he's
beautiful.
out there basically with his wife and the kid out there, and it's basically like, okay, he's done.
This is the last
This
scene.
is
This
it
is
and
his
stuff. And
life
so
now.
I really appreciated Vin Diesel's lines and everything.
At the
how
very
it
end.
It felt like a eulogy. It really
It
did.
really did. That's what I was thinking too. It was like, those are some really good words for kind of like saying, we'll miss you because you are really friends.
You're not more. He's not his friend. He's his brother. But yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciated how they basically went and ended the character, basically put him off with his family. I felt that was really appropriate. Instead of saying killing off the
It
character,
was
like some
definitely
people thought
better
it
than
may
killing him
happen.
off.
I
That-
kind of
that
almost
would've
had a
been-
suspicion that was going to happen. I was actually kind of really glad that that's not how they did that.
That would have been really insensitive to kill off his character.
Yeah.
But I like how they basically gave him that sending off, and basically Vin Diesel just finishing it with his eulogy and stuff.
I definitely can't wait
It was
till
it was
comes
touching.
out to
It
watch
was a good
again.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good, and I really liked the conclusion and how they, there you go, basically said their goodbyes right there in the movie. So, any other thoughts on that?
I keep going back in my head and I find it a little funny on the beach scene between the two guys sitting there. Whenever I saw that, I always see them when they're up close and when they're out in like a wide shot. I always see them when they're up close in they have shade over them. When they're in wide shot, it's all sunny around them. I just thought that was bad editing or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't worried. I didn't pay attention to it. It was such an emotional scene. I didn't even pay attention to anything in it except for, wow, I was just worried about seeing how they were going to send him off. Basically,
I like that we got to see the Toretto family house one last time before it blew up into smithereens.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It's true.
And that beautiful car that survived.
Especially liked when Vin Diesel and Jason Statham finally match forces, not match forces. They finally meet up
Street
and
fight.
start street fighting.
Is this a street fight?
Street Fighter, baby.
No, he's like, think this is a street fight? It is now.
Yep, that's true.
Pulls out these 2 wrenches.
He's like, you're right.
Gets going.
Alright, is that it?
Yeah, that's all my thought.
That's good.
I love the movie. Can't wait for more.
Alright, so let us know what y'all think in the comments below. And just hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Got anything else? Oh, that's it.
No.
That's all we have.
Y'all know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, keep it cosmic.